Well, this guy, I assume it's a guy, period, says she has a high body count. I can tell from her uncomfortable body language talking about it. So from my perspective, obviously I've known Jen almost 30 years, and she was experienced when we were in our early 20s, and she dated a lot of different dudes. She had a lot, she had, I think it was one steady boyfriend through college. Yeah. And then she had several years where she was playing the field. I remember jokingly one time when we were working together, she's like, she had three dudes, different dudes that she was dating. And one of those three guys at the same time became her husband. And so from the time we were in, I think it was 23, 24 is when you guys got together.
I think.
And so you were with him for a lot of years, and eventually you left him because he cheated on you a bunch, and you were loyal and faithful. And I remember all the stories she used to tell me about the things that were going on. I was thinking, man, why are you putting up with this shit? And so Jen was obviously experienced when we were younger, and she had dated enough guys to know what she wanted, and she was a loyal and faithful wife. It's like, how much cheating and bullshit is a woman supposed to put up with before she finally says, that's it, I'm out? And then after your divorce, you're with your, I don't know, 6 months, a year, whatever it was, when you met the guy that you dated after that, and you guys were together like 8 years. So if she's supposedly unable to pair bond because she had too much experience in the eyes of the red community, it's like, at what point does a woman just say, this is a bunch of shit, my husband's constantly cheating on me and lying to me? It's like, at what point does she say, uncle, that's enough? The guy's just not going to be faithful.
Right. I love being in relationships. And when you're in relationships, you become really sexually active and you become very experienced. I wasn't having sex with a different guy every night. I was having relationships long term, back to back. So I'm not uncomfortable. The body count thing is ridiculous. I've literally had boyfriends since I was 18 years old. So that's body well, maybe he was talking about the way I was defending a topic at the time, but
well, the idea is he's basically saying, oh, you've been run through, you've had just dozens and dozens and dozens of dudes.
I haven't dated
and therefore
since
you can't effectively pair bond because of that.
I was with one guy for 15 years and the next one for 8 years. Does that mean I can't pair bond? I think I was able to pair bond. The reason that I left those scenarios was not because I couldn't bond. It was because of situations it was because I have boundaries. And I don't put up with BS. And I love myself and enough to leave a bad situation so that I can have something better later. And it's not hypergamy. It's I'm getting cheated on and being disrespected, and it's embarrassing. And I need to be a model for my children. I need to set up a place from where my kids can thrive and they're in a home where everything's working right. So... yeah, he doesn't know me, so whatever. People are going to project their ideas of the world onto us as we're speaking because people see the world through their own experience, and that whoever that period is, he hasn't lived life through my eyes, so he doesn't realize the things that I went through. But trust me when I tell you, I had a reason to leave. It's not because I can't pair bond. Love pair bonding. Absolutely love it. Would have loved to stay, but you can't always stay, and you should leave. Life's too short to be miserable. You can't stay in an unhealthy situation. It was really a bad model for my children. I have 2 daughters. You're not going to raise 2 daughters and say, I give up, because then they're going to go on in life and create the same scenario in their lives. So I didn't want that for my children.
Kids follow what you do, not what you tell them to do.
Yeah. So, what's our next one?
What was your experience from your perspective as her daughter? With, obviously, because you saw the relationship she had with your dad, and then later her other boyfriend that she was with for 8 years, and talking about setting and enforcing healthy boundaries.
Like,
like boundaries with me and her?
With her, because obviously the guy is basically saying that he believes your mother, in other words,
Like
she
sleep
slept
around.
with too many guys, and so therefore she couldn't pair bond. But obviously, your dad cheated on your mom a lot, and then obviously at some point she's just like, that's it, I can't do this anymore, because obviously he's just not going to be faithful to me, and so she left. And so, what's your perspective? Obviously, as her daughter, watching your mother go through that, getting cheated on, and all
Well,
the drama that goes along with
I
that.
had no idea, no clue. I didn't know till I was like old enough to know. Because I was young when all this was happening, and I was in La La Land. Like, when my parents said they were getting a divorce, I was like, oh, like this is new. Like I didn't really know. But then when I found out everything that happened, like I was older, and like I could actually understand like what everything meant. I looked back and I was like, oh, that's why she was doing this. Oh, that's why she was crying, or like I figured everything out later, and I pieced the puzzle together later in life. So I didn't really have like a in the moment experience, but obviously you have the ability to pair a bond. Like I don't know, like these people just don't know you. They're just, I don't know. A lot of people just like to judge online because they can hide behind a screen, but I think you can pair bond. And from my experience of being your daughter, you're great at it.
I would just hope that you would have learned from it. That's all.
I've learned from my sister's experiences. I've learned from my mom's experiences. I've learned from my friends' experiences. I have a lot of examples to learn from. And after knowing what you went through and leaving that toxic situation, that gave me power, and that gives me power knowing that I can pull that off if I ever
You
get
don't
into that
have to
situation.
stay. It's so important to know that you don't have to stay in a bad relationship because society tells you you're supposed to. You're supposed to stay for the kids, or how's that going to make our family, what's that going to make our family look like? That's ridiculous.
In my opinion, as a kid, staying for the kids is worse for the kids. The older the kids get, the more they realize what's happening, and the more they're just watching you fail. And it's better to do it when they're young and when they're kind of still learning, and you can like teach them and guide them into the way of having divorced parents, or I don't know. But when you're getting a divorce and your kids are in high school, it's like, oh, like that poor kid. They know everything that's going on. They watch it all. They like listen in. They eavesdrop. I don't know. Like, I feel like splitting up is for the best.
I mean, divorce is not ideal. I didn't go into
Obviously,
marriage
yeah.
wanting that and thinking that was going to be an option. I was obviously backed into a corner. I mean, I fought it for years, obviously. But if you make it takes a lot of strength, inner fortitude to make that decision, but it'll benefit your children if you are doing what's right for the family. Because even though I'm divorced, we are still a family unit. Even though he's remarried and has a new family, the way I see it is in my spiritual way. In God's eyes, he's always going to be my husband, no matter, even though he's remarried. He's the father of my children. I have respect for that, and we had great memories, and I loved him. Like, my children were created out of love. There's nothing can replace what the 15 years we had. It was awesome. I wouldn't have made that decision unless I was absolutely had to. But like, that's really important to communicate that to your children too, though, and not to be all wicked and angry and
That was
vengeance.
another thing. It wasn't. I bet so many parents tell their kids, "Oh, your dad." Da 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 da. I never heard negativity.
I mean, I'm sure there were some moments,
but like, not really. Like, both of you guys were mature about it.
yeah.
Very mature. But the only time I would hear the bad parts is when I was eavesdropping. See, like it's good to hide it. Like, I feel like, yeah, like, you know.
All right, let's go to another one.
Got a little glass in the wall. What do they say?